Hello, thanks for coming. We're kicking off our optimization effort with, I think, practically everybody in DIT HR. We might be missing one or two people. I want to introduce to you Joey Harrison, who's the DIT HR director. He's going to be presenting all the information that we need to know about being new DIT employees, and any questions that you have, I'm sure he and the other folks will be presenting will be happy to entertain. So, thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, that's one of the better responses. Meet and greets, I appreciate it. I've been the Human Resources Director for about 1.5 years now with DIT, and one of the things I was most excited about was to be a part of growing a cabinet agency that's new, and also being a part of this optimization initiative. So I'm really excited to be here today. I know the HR staff's real excited to welcome y'all into the family and to start providing support to you from the HR perspective. But I'm interested to know who around the table is excited about optimization. All right, we got two. 2.5. We do understand, and that's why we wanted to meet with y'all today and just provide some information. I think one of the key points I want to make today and will make is that there won't be a whole lot changing for you. You know, we're going to talk about what will change, but we want you to understand that we're really trying to limit the amount of change. I mean, you'll be in a new agency, but the good news about that is you'll be in the state's IT agency, and we feel like having y'all become a part of our team will give you a better positioning for developing as IT professionals. And also, down the road, we really expect to see some efficiencies gained across the board, across all of the IT disciplines as we continue to serve all our different partners. So I hope that you can take that with you today and feel good about where we're all headed. But we really are excited to be involved with y'all and to have this process moving forward. So I got a couple of coworkers in Human Resources that will present a little bit more information after I get through my part. And I did want to point out that we do have most of the DIT Human Resources team here today. We were kind of thinking we might outnumber y'all, but it doesn't look like we might be an even match at this point. But the really reason why I wanted to make sure as many of them could be here today is I wanted y'all to put a name and a face together and be sure you understand what each staff member is involved in from the HR perspective. Once we get past April 1st, and y'all are under our agency in terms of the org structure and are truly DIT employees, this is going to be your human resources staff to work with whenever you have something you need to accomplish process-wise. If you've got some concerns, we'll be there to listen to those and meet with you, and we're really working hard to be responsive. Just this morning, I got an email from someone with DIT Public Safety, and it was a real good feedback on how responsive we've been providing some good customer service, and that person really appreciated our efforts to try to make the optimization process very smooth. So real excited to share that with you and the team today. Secretary Boyette is the state CIO. We had originally planned to hold this meeting yesterday, and we had to change the date, so unfortunately he can't be here today, but he is excited to have y'all become a part of DIT, and I think he's hoping to attend your next staff meeting. So he wanted me to send his regards, and he's looking forward to working with y'all. We have, before I get started, I do want to mention one thing, and we've had these meet and greet sessions with all of the agencies that we've been working with through optimization so far, and we felt like they've been really successful. And a big part of the success is the partnerships that our team has built with others. And, you know, so it's partnerships and good working relationships between our human resources staff and natural and cultural resources staff. We have the same arrangement between the fiscal teams on both sides. We've had help from a couple of folks that have kind of helped us steer our process from the human resources side and also from the fiscal side. And those are two folks that they're not here today, but have retired from state government and been involved in both of those areas as professionals for an extended period of time, and they wanted to help us with that process. So they have helped us a great deal. We've had a DIT project manager that has helped to keep us on track with all of these meetings that we've been holding to make sure we move everything forward smoothly. We have had our partners with Office of State Controller to be a part and to help us with the beacon, payroll, time administration aspects that are so important. We want to make sure y'all stay whole with all of those things as you move under our agency. So, and I think we've got two of those folks. I definitely know one of them, Kathy Lagana, is here, and she's always been at our meet and greets and wants to have that presence so that y'all know that OSC is really helping out and, you know, paying attention and monitoring the move so that we can avoid any types of problems, or if something pops up, we all work together to resolve those quickly. So, thank you.
We're very popular.
Yeah.
And Todd is our security manager. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Todd. Appreciate y'all both being here today. Lee Jackson is another member of our team, and she has helped out in a lot of ways with regard to just working with the HR staff on helping to guide communications or to set up arrangements between the agencies so that we can make sure we're on the same page. And she has worked with our Aaron from our communications team. Aaron's here as well. So a lot of different folks really engaged and working hard to make this a smooth process. One last thing before I turn the page, because I know you're excited to see what's on page 2, right? We're going to be here after our presentation. We'll have time for questions. We can talk and answer questions along the way. But the HR team is going to stick around in case y'all would like to mingle with them and we get to know each other a little bit. It's not a requirement, but we just want to make sure you know that that is a possibility. So I first wanted to provide some images and names and faces also for our executive leadership team. Internally, we call ourselves the senior leadership team. We've got a pretty good-sized group, and this is one of the parts that I want to emphasize. I want to make sure you know who our leaders are at DIT and some of the roles. I don't have everyone in the PowerPoint presentation for different reasons. Part of it is, you know, we've got to get a good image of everyone, and, you know, some people, they need to be happy with that photo. So a couple of different folks, and just not going to spend a whole lot of time explaining their roles, but just want to paint a picture for you that, you know, we've got a good leadership team at DIT. That's one of my favorite parts about my job is being involved with the senior leadership team. I really do feel that the senior leadership team members are approachable. I can approach them, but I'm a peer. I think that the employees and supervisors, no matter what area they work in, they can approach the senior leadership team members and talk about things that they need to talk about, whether it's concerns or providing some positive feedback. So I really like this team, and I'm glad to be a part of it. That one thing that they do, and we do well, I think, is we support one another. So we have meetings every other Monday, and we really talk about what the key items on everybody's plate is at the time and really look to find opportunities to collaborate. I think we do a pretty good job on that. And I was successful today in not wearing the same shirt and tie. Y'all are looking for that. So, and we try to have a good time in human resources too. I'll talk about that a little more as we go. But our agenda today is really, we didn't want to put you through a 8-hour new employee orientation because most of you have probably been in your roles quite some time, and we really don't need to put you through that again. So we really want to focus on a couple of items today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the what, how, and why of DIT. That's our strategic mission, and cover that with you. I want to show you the HR organizational chart, and I'm going to go through and introduce all of the team members in HR to you today. We are going to discuss changes that you can expect to happen, and again, I think most of the changes you'll see will be minimal, and we really do want to emphasize how things are going to pretty much be consistent. You're going to retain your same job classification and grade. Your salary is going to remain the same. You're going to work and be in the same office that you have now. You're going to maintain your parking. All those key points, you've got to make sure folks have, as best as we can in state government, a good parking space, right? And a lot of times, having a parking space qualifies to meet that criteria, right? We do want to talk a little bit about our agency's acceptable use policy and how that would supplement acceptable use policies that would be in place within the agency you'll continue to support. And then also, just want to provide some contact information for the staff, how to get in touch with us, and we also want to emphasize our payroll and time folks and fiscal, because those will be folks that you may need to get in touch with down the road for some support. A couple of hot topics. Of course, everyone will be interested in benefits. Any changes to time administration we would go over. Email, NCID, and badges. We're going to ensure that you have a DIT badge so that you can access 3700 and 3900 Wake Forest Road. And that will include access to the parking lot. So it'll be good to get through the gate over there. And then parking is another topic. So in becoming a part of the DIT team, I have been learning about Secretary Boyette's thoughts on strategic planning and vision and mission statements, and he really prefers to talk about the what, how, and the why. That's his emphasis. That's how he wants to build our vision and our strategy for the agency moving forward. So what that we do is provide IT services, solutions, and support. Have a lot of different partners and customers that we support, like your agency. So we will continue to do that as the state IT agency. How do we do it? We do it through building partnerships, as I said, consolidation of services, focusing on security and the importance of security and information technology and data management, having a strategy, and also emphasizing the enterprise approach. We've got some large agencies that are now, their IT staff is a part of DIT, but their own areas, that's a pretty good sized enterprise too, if you think about, say, transportation. They've got a pretty broad enterprise. I think it's a little bit different than the true state level scope for an enterprise definition, but I think you can apply that term the same way for both cases. And we really do want to establish trust and share the vision of the agencies that we support. And why do we do it? This is really my favorite part of the talk, besides sharing the HR team with you is, I grew up in North Carolina. I actually grew up in Wake County, so I'm one of the rare folks that still lives in Wake County after being born. And you don't see that many folks like that these days. We got a couple of those on our team, so that's neat. But I really like being a state employee because I love my home state. I'm definitely particular and favor the mountain region. I love the mountains, but I can't get sidetracked on that now because you don't want to be here for 4 hours. But I like to be a state employee because I really want to be in public service and I want to make the state of North Carolina better in the ways that I can. So I take a lot of pride in being a state employee, and I really want to provide leadership to help us improve. But across the board, we really are looking to, as it states, impact outcomes, enrich the lives of North Carolinians, improve the experiences that visitors have when they come to the state. All the agencies that we support, we want to help them provide the services to the best of their abilities. And we also want to meet the necessities for day-to-day needs of folks that are in North Carolina. So that is the what, how, and the why. And we are building a new culture for DIT, and that's something that's going to have to be worked on for years. It's not an overnight process. We have staff coming in that have been used to a particular culture that kind of flows from the agency in which they've been working for and they continue to support. And we don't want to take that away. We want to incorporate that into what we become as a culture and a work environment. So we've got a lot of focus and a lot of leaders working on this in different ways, and we really are trying to use our strategic what, how, and why to help us guide that cultural development and improvement. Next part I want to cover real quick is I want to talk a little bit about human resources at DIT. When I got to the agency end of October, end of 2017, we had about 7 positions in human resources. And we had a couple of those that were vacant. And so for a good 12, 14 months, the folks that were already a part of DIT HR at that point worked with me, and we filled and really did a lot of interviewing for positions. We were able to get some positions moved into the HR organization and establish some varying roles that are going to be critical to provide the type of service and support that an agency that will ultimately be around 2,400 employees deserves. Still have some work to do here, but we've got a really good team, and we are learning each other still. Most of us on the HR team have not been working for DIT 12 months yet, so we're still growing and learning each other, learning our roles, learning the agency. But I hear it a lot in our hallway. There's a lot of discussion and collaboration going on between HR team members. Folks are enjoying each other. They're laughing. Laughter, man, you work in human resources, you got to be able to laugh. I'm sure that's similar for IT, I can only imagine. But leaning on each other is what I've been emphasizing, and I'm excited to see us growing as a team. But just wanted to go through the chart and just introduce folks that are here today and tell you about the different roles. So first person I'd like to introduce is Deanna Putney. And most of us are on the wall over here. So everybody, when you're introduced, you have to stand up.
We don't know. Not much difference me standing and sitting.
Deanna has been working with us for 7-8 months now, I think, not quite a year. She is our performance management and VIP program coordinator. She also has a background in organizational development, and so she's going to help us to help support the agency as we grow and, working on the cultural efforts that we're trying to improve on and implement. But Deanna has a lot of background with performance management, has a passion for it. She is learning the VIP system, and she really likes the VIP system. We don't really, spend a lot of time fussing about it or anything. The one thing I really appreciate about Deanna is she's worked really hard to learn the system and to try to be a system administrator as best she can with the permission she has. And so we're making it work, and we're getting folks to improve on their engagement with using the system, but we're also really emphasizing the need to have that one-on-one discussion throughout the year about performance. So we'll continue to push on that. Deanna has worked hard to interview and hire Helena Costin, who will be coming over and starting with us on April 1st. Right now, she works with the Department of Transportation, providing support to them, and has been essentially acting as a human resources liaison for the rail division. That division is an interesting group to work with. I've worked with them before. Professionals, they really want to be engaged in human resources work, and they've been leaning on her a good amount to try to help guide them and be a good liaison between HR operations and services at DOT and the rail staff altogether. So we're excited about Helena joining our team. She's going to work within VIP and also training and development to perform a technician role, and she'll have some system administrator duties. So we definitely need to have her on the team, and excited about her coming along. Next person I'd like to introduce is Angela McCrae. Angela is one of our HR managers, and she is responsible programmatically for our class and comp program, as well as our recruitment and selection program. I really felt that it was important to have a person managing both of those disciplines of HR, because they really won't need to lean on one another. We really need to make sure that we have our positions classified properly. If we don't, then we're going to get off on the wrong foot when we go to try and fill those. So Angela's got extensive experience in state government human resources, and has some other experiences as well, and we're lucky to have her leading this team. David Gaines is not here today, but he is currently our primary class comp analyst. He has a background as a certified compensation professional, and I really wanted to be successful in finding someone who has that certification and that background, because we need to do a better job in state government, focusing, especially in information technology, on market relevance. I know that also State Human Resources is working hard to help guide us with that new class comp system that is, everybody's real excited about, right? But the key part of that is it's just because we've implemented, and we were talking about it earlier today, HR directors meeting, just because we've implemented, the work's not done. We've got a long way to go to make that system work the way it needs to, and a big part of that push right now is working with a consulting firm, Mercer, to provide some true market analysis that's current and focus on where the challenges are in state government. State government as an employer has a lot of challenges because we have so many different occupational groups, and we really have to focus in a lot of different areas as an employer of so many different job types. And that can be a big challenge, but especially when it comes to information technology, they know that we've got to improve, and as an HR leader, I am constantly championing that, if that's a word. Is that good, Lee? So working with David and Angela and having some compensation background, compensation professional on the staff, I think that's a good strategy for our agency to have, because up to this point, most agencies have really leaned on that skill set being at State Human Resources. And I want us to be able to supplement that and build a good partnership so that we can achieve some of the improvements that we feel we need to make. Kim Sprague is another team member. Kim is not here today. She is actually in Colorado, so I'm jealous, but I will be there in June, so not too far down the road. Kim is an HR consultant for DIT Human Resources, been on the job about 4 months, has had some experience with other state agencies, but she is kind of serves as a lead for recruitment and selection. She's got a lot of knowledge related to the NeoGov system, and she's been helping to implement some training on the screening and the overall recruitment and selection process, and especially trying to help our agency utilize NeoGov more. Being the IT agency, we should be using the application more than we have. So we are moving in the right direction with that, and Kim's had an immediate impact so far. Winky Guan is here today.
Good afternoon.
Winky is also on the recruitment and selection team. She is helping to improve our processes, whether it's having a more effective vacancy announcement, being effective in the screening process, coordinating subject matter experts to help us screen these IT positions, because, you know, we may look like IT professionals, but we're not. You know, we've got a long way to go to learn the true scope of information technology skills, certifications, experiences that we really need to fill jobs. So we've been working hard to get some IT professionals in different parts of our organization engaged in that screening process so that we truly can have a most qualified pool. So Winky's been a valuable asset. She has some private sector experience, and when we were interviewing, she did the best job in the interview, and really we felt could bring us some knowledge from the private sector that we might be able to help shape the way we're moving with recruitment and selection. So we're glad to have her on the team. We do have a temporary employee currently helping us out, and that's Michelle Collins. Michelle's a retired HR professional in state government. She's not here today. If she is, she's probably back keeping working going. That's a good thing. Another HR manager that we have is Daphne Richardson. Daphne was not able to join us today, but Daphne serves a variety of different roles. She is our EEO officer for the agency. She is programmatically responsible for employee relations matters. She has oversight over our training, learning and development initiatives in DIT, and she also provides oversight for benefits administration. So a pretty good scope of responsibilities in her role. Daphne has really helped our agency by delivering some training related to the disciplinary action process, grievance procedures. She's working on ensuring that our staff, especially our supervisors and managers, have the EEO training that's required to be held. And so working on a lot of process improvement and helping to guide us that way. On her team is Evangeline Phillips. Evangeline is one of our really key members of our team. Evangeline has the most knowledge of DIT because she, I think it's fair to say, I don't have all my timelines right, but I think she even goes back to the SIPS days Is that right?
Correct.
SIPs. So, I always liked that term. I remember back, 20 years ago, thinking that was funny. But moving forward as OITS and now the Department of Information Technology, Evangeline has been in human resources all of those years and has really a good history on how the agency has evolved from a division that moved around between different agencies to becoming its own agency. So she helps out with employee relations matters, also helps to coordinate our temporary hiring process, and gives us some support and guide in our wellness initiatives. Sabrina Mack is here. Sabrina has been working with us almost a year now. She's getting close. May 1st. So Sabrina is our learning and development coordinator. She's our primary on our LMS and has been learning a lot about managing the LMS for the agency and really helping us to work through some challenges with the LMS when we bring the optimized agency staff into our agency. It seems like that ought to be pretty seamless, but it's not. So we are working to improve that, and we are able to troubleshoot items pretty quickly and get them resolved. One thing that Sabrina's taken on in her role at DIT since she's been here is she is the system admin for the Pluralsight licensing and system access really statewide at this point. So that's a role that she's really enjoyed, and she continues to help folks with that. We are really pushing the need to improve human resources training for our supervisors and managers. So working with Sabrina to help guide what that will look like as we grow as an agency. I think there's all state agencies, from some recent conversations, all state agencies feel that's a particular area that's been lacking across the board. And so State Human Resources has an effort moving forward to try to help improve some of that training, and we're coordinating that information and curriculum they're developing with what we're working on to have a good package to offer our supervisors and managers. Veronica Watson next on Daphne Singh. Veronica helps out with optimization, but at this point is our benefits administrator for the agency. She's got a lot of experience working within benefits and the Beacon system or different HRIS systems that we've had over the years. She's had experience in working with time administration, so that's been helpful as we've been working to try to get a couple of our payroll staff implemented into the organization on the fiscal side. One of the things Veronica is working on currently is being a part of our benefits committee. Agency, I think, had a benefits committee years ago, and then it really kind of went dormant. And so one of the things we really wanted to do is to get a committee moving again, because we need to establish what our supplemental benefits options are for this agency, especially as it grows. So we're currently in the process, and she's helping out on the committee we're in an RFP process right now, and we just had a good meeting the other day answering a bunch of questions about our RFP so folks can provide us with quotes. And that was fun, wasn't it?
Not my idea for it.
Next person I'd like to introduce is here today, Jennifer Yon Utley. Jennifer has been working with DIT for several years now. Past few years have been in the Human Resources Division. And Jennifer is a key member of our team, provide administrative support to the entire HR division. But she also helps out a great deal with badging of new employees and helping to kick off our boarding processes, whether somebody's coming on board or they're leaving the agency. So she's a valuable member of the team. Next person I'd like to introduce is Lori Goldsmith. Lori has extensive background in human resources and state government, has held some different roles in different agencies, has done a lot of class comp work, so we are grateful that she has that skill set in her on her tool belt. Right now, Lori was hired to provide a resource within human resources to guide and help the planning of the different optimization initiatives with different agencies. So she and Veronica will have a little bit of information to share with you today. Last folks I'd like to mention that are on the O chart, but it's a dotted line relationship. And we've got to update Amy Grice's name because she's now Amy Barefoot. So I always find something that we missed on our presentation. That's my fault. That's my fault. So Amy Barefoot and Amy Wolf-Charlton, they both work for DIT Transportation. They report up to the CIO, Frank Wynn. They came over into optimization with transportation IT, and they continue to help support the HR information sharing or processing from a technician perspective. So they cover a lot of different areas. And that was kind of an arrangement that was already in place with DOT being a much bigger agency. They had more folks and positions out in the primary work units to provide some on-site guidance on human resources items on a daily basis. So we're working with both of them to help make sure they're clear and we're also clear on what our processes are in human resources. And we're really working with them to make sure that they understand that we feel they're a part of our HR family. And, that's another, as we're all growing and learning each other and trying to come together as a team, we have additions coming in sometimes, and we need to make sure they're incorporated in our process. So I think things are going well so far with them. So any questions about the Human Resources Division, how we're organized? I'd be happy to field them now.
Where do you sit in the building?
Great question. So we're on the front side. So that's the Wake Forest Road side.
So it's the back side if you go in the door.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, I guess it depends. That was a trick question. So we're on the hallway with the secretary and other senior leadership members. Most of us are on that hallway. Because of our growth, we've got some folks that are in cubicles outside our doorway, but that's where we're located. So, if you turn off Wake Forest Road and you approach the gate, there's a door on the side that you can badge in and go up the stairs, and our hallway is immediately to the left there and comes around that side of the building.
So our badges will work on that door?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll work on all the doors, in and out.
Phillips too?
No. Well, I was just saying for 3,700. The downtown badge access, and Jennifer really likes this part of her job, but the downtown access to downtown buildings is always a challenge for every agency. Our badging system, we have control over 3,700, 3,900, the parking lot, gates, but when it comes to other buildings, we have to lean on others to provide access. We're also on a different badging system than them, so part of what we would talk about today is how y'all will continue to have your current badges, but then also have a DIT badge. So, I'd really like to see one day we're all on the same badging system. That's like a dream. Aim high. All right. Well, I'm gonna turn it over to Lori so she can go over a few items to discuss with you today.
Hi, everyone. These documents have all already been sent out to you all, either through email or LMS. And we have a bin in the back. If you brought hard copies today, we'll be collecting them. So that's really it. I think you've seen all this stuff.
Just to remind everybody that needs my signature on their work schedule form, I'll sign it before you put it in.
Thank you.
So the changes that, Joey was talking a little bit about, a lot really will not change for you all. You're gonna continue to do the same work. It'll support the same customers. Your salary, your classification will stay the same. Your state health plan and the NC Flex benefits, same. If you have any other payroll deductions, like for CNIC or for loans, those will continue like they are now. The retirement will continue, 6% coming out for that. You'll continue to report to the same work location that you currently do. Your phone number and email address will stay the same. You'll continue to use your DNCR email address. It'll be the same process that you currently use for travel and training for reimbursements for that. You'll continue to use your DNCR badges, and I think all of you park downtown, and that will all continue as well. So the main change really is now you're going to be at an agency that has an IT focus. So hopefully that will benefit you all in the work that you do. You'll have access to more specific IT training, such as Pluralsight and Gartner. So I think that's a positive thing. You will get new badges, so you can come to the main building on Wake Forest Road if you ever come for meetings, or you need to come to HR or what have you. Some of the policies will change, but they shouldn't be too significant for you. You've already seen this. It's already gone out. The acceptable use policy and the non-disclosure agreement. Basically, you just need to follow the current DNCR policy for these, as well as the DIT policy. And DIT requires criminal background checks on all its employees, and you all have done that already, so thank you. If you do promote up, once you're at DIT, we do require a new criminal background check every time. So just something to keep in mind. Don't think that'll be an issue for you. So you'll continue using your current DNCR email. We're going to create an alias email address so that you can also receive any DIT-specific email addresses, but it's behind the scenes, so you won't even see it. We're going to take pictures today after the presentation, and then come back in a couple of weeks with your new DIT badges. And you'll continue to use your same NCID. After the transition has been worked by OSC, you'll have access to our SharePoint site, and we'll send you that information so you can access that. Time administration, there's not major changes with this. All your current leave balances will transfer. If you have any comp time, that will also transfer. You'll continue to use ESS, MSS to record all your time worked and leave taken. The main thing is that you need to report all time through March 31st, and managers need to approve that time by the morning of April 4th. And then after the transfers from work, we'll let you know when you can report time again. So there'll be about a week probably where you won't report time. But just keep that date of the 31st in your mind. Okay. So the parking, It's the same for all of you, and I think we've gotten all your forms back. Thank you, you guys have been really great about turning stuff in. I mean, that's wonderful. In the future, if you hire somebody, you need an additional spot, you'll go through us, through our parking coordinator, to get a spot downtown. And that information's on the slide, just as a reference for you. And all this will be on our website as well, if you need to refer back to it or see any email addresses or anything like that. So that's it. I'm gonna turn it over to Veronica. Yeah, I'm a little faster than Joey. Wow. I'm gonna zip on through this then. So happy first day of spring to everybody. Yeah, finally. So I'm Veronica. I am your benefits specialist. I am who you would get in contact with in regards to anything benefits related, leave of absences, workers' comp, anything in that realm. Okay, so just wanted to let you know that your core state health benefits and your NC Flex benefits will remain the same. There is going to be a little change with your ITS group as your employer for your state health plan. So you all will be receiving new state health plan insurance cards. I just want to let you know that this is very important for you all to be aware of. If you have doctor's appointments, pre-authorizations that need to be done by treating physicians, just let the treating physicians know that the employer group has changed and it's no longer DNCR, it is ITS. And the group number is S19014. Everybody writing that down?
That'll be effective April 1.
Yes, it will be effective April 1. So it's a process in which the state health plan has to receive information. The action has to be worked in Beacon. A feed of information from Beacon is then sent over to the state health plan, and then the state health plan will issue out new insurance cards for employees that have changed employers. Your NC Flex benefits will remain the same. At this time, we currently do not offer agency benefits, as Joey has indicated. We are working on that. Hopefully soon, we'll be able to provide you all with agency-specific benefits. Communication will go out to you all where we'll have an opportunity to inform you of those benefits that are available. That's what I just said. I was ahead of the game. Your retirement contributions will remain the same. The 6% will continue to be deducted from your pay. If you participate in the supplemental retirement with Prudential, those will remain the same. If you have any repayments, those will remain the same as well with Prudential. If you have a loan out, those will remain the same. Do want to remind you all to check into your Prudential profile when you go online. Once the action is processed, a feed of information from Best Shared Services will be sent over to Prudential. Eventually, probably mid-April or so, I do not want to definitively give a date, but during the month of April, if you go in and look at your profile, you will see that your employer will then switch to ITS. Okay, and it should, because you're now going to be a part of DIT, so it will reflect as such. And I do strongly recommend that everyone go in and review their profile just to make sure that it is reflecting the correct agency. Okay?
And this is if you have a 401k or 457?
This is 401k 457 through Prudential. If you are currently participating in those supplemental retirement benefits, do review your profile just to ensure that your profile does reflect your new employer. Okay? I've also provided a couple links to the retirement division. Of course, your Orbit account. We should always go in there and check out Orbit account with the retirement division. Also provided a link through for Prudential for you all to go in and access And if you need some assistance with that, I can kind of help guide you with the link. I can also help guide you through the link with Orbit, but I cannot access your profile and credential because they're a third-party vendor. Okay? And so here is a wonderful contact list. If anybody wants to make a screenshot, this will also be available on our webpage with all of our beautiful contact information. Some key people that assist us in some of our HR functions will be our DIT payroll and time administration personnel, which is Ron Jackson and Gloria Williams and Sarah Lane. But I can also assist, but they're our main point of contact for time administration and payroll issues. Okay. And so here is the last little piece of our presentation today. We do have a DIT optimization email account that myself, Lori, Joey, Leanne, she's not to access while she's on maternity leave. She has access to the email account, and we will be very responsive if you have any questions in regards to any concerns or issues or just anything that you need during your transition over into our lovely agency. Okay. Anybody have any questions? That's just burning. You just have to get it out, Lord. Just get it out. Yes.
So I know in this transition we're staying SHRA because we're in positions that are filled, are unfilled positions. Are they going to be converted to EHRA?
No, not necessarily. We do have, and our statute supports, any new position that's created shall be designated and created as statutory exempt.
Okay.
There was a plan that was developed a few years ago that never implemented, which would have provided a new compensation system, and part of that would have required a person in a subject position to volunteer to become exempt, and then there would have been some differences in some of the benefits that they would get, and then they obviously would have been considered an at-will employee.
Right.
But yet you all, in positions that are subject, if you're currently subject, you move over and it's the same.
So our existing unfilled subject positions will remain subject?
Correct. Unless we work with you to decide to flip the position to become an exempt position. But we would not be looking to do that just on our own.
One thing I just want to say is just please monitor your pay stubs. We don't expect any issues, but monitor your time, your pay stubs. You might see a new performance plan kick off from DIT, kind of a known issue. Ignore it, just let us know, but don't touch that if you get a new performance plan. But just kind of look over stuff, and we're not expecting any issues, but just be mindful, and please reach out if you see something that just looks off, and we'll figure it out for you.
If you call us or email us and say, hey, there's a problem here, or why is this going on, or whatever, that's why we're here, is to hear from you and see if maybe we can already provide an answer on why that's happening. It might be a new thing, every day in human resources, you learn something new. So, we're not going to be upset with you. We want you to call us, and we'll get down to the bottom of whatever's going on.
So this will be particularly the April pay stub where, because your March pay stub should not be different.
Right. Your March pay stub will pretty much be the same. It will be your April. I would say just review your April and May for consistency's sake. But that's something that we always do. We always review our pay stubs, right? Balances, right? Right? Yes. Not 6 months down the line and, hey, I saw something that didn't look right. So we want to be proactive and not reactive. So kind of help us stay on top of that as well.
And Grant, there should be a communication that comes out right before that first DIT paycheck hits, which is everyone gets confused about when that pay transfer happens, to remind everybody to double check it.
I know that Veronica talked about a couple of references to ITS. We have some work to do to go out and find all references to ITS and change it to DIT. With all that we've been working on, honestly, that hasn't been a top priority. So that's why you see that here and there. So just wanted to provide that explanation. This is who we are. Any questions? Any question related to info we've covered, information we haven't covered? Yes, sir.
You said, that Pluralsight, the training.
Pluralsight?
Yeah, do we have access to Gartner? What is that?
Gartner.
Gartner Group, and how do you get access to that? Or do we have access to it?
You receive access to Pluralsight. Once you transition over, you get an email directly from Pluralsight, and it's gonna ask you to register. Everybody that's DIT receives one, so you don't have to, request it. It's a great advantage. And then with Gartner, you have an account with them as well once you transition over, and they're more of our research, so they partner with us if there's a topic that you need to look further into, or you want more information on, you provide that to them, and then they provide you all the details about it.
Some of us got the Pluralsight email today.
Nice.
I did. It looks like.
Okay, everybody, go for it.
Good.
You're welcome to use it as soon as you receive it.
I know, I imagine Gartner will reach out to you too. They've been worrying us to death.
They love
What other questions do y'all have?
Processing, like travel advancement, reimbursement, those documents go through our agency here, or will they now be sent to DIT?
That remains the same. What you're doing now is the same process. Your funding, your budgeting remains with this agency. It doesn't change to DIT. Now, it may down the road, but that's not a change that occurs with the optimization process, action-wise, the transfer of positions.
So, to tag along with that then, if the funding for everything is still here at this agency, how do pay raises, things like that, all work out? And what if the agency decides, we have to do a budget revision or a budget reduction because of a bad fiscal year, and decides we're not going to fund these positions anymore because they're not ours?
Well, our senior leadership team would work with the senior leaders with DNCR to address any kind of funding gaps. We have had to do that already with other agencies that have been optimized from an IT perspective. So Secretary Boyette looks into those matters, and he looks for opportunities to make sure that we provide funding where we need to support operations the way we need to. So it will be a continued effort to collaborate on those topics when they come up.
Okay. And I know from what you've said, our performance won't change right now, but going forward, I'm assuming we'll get DIT goals as opposed to DNCR goals for our performance plans.
Correct. And that's an initiative we're working to provide clarity on across the board for our agency as we are growing and changing.
What is your review cycle timeline? Is it July to June?
Yeah, the fiscal year.
Yeah, I think it's the same as what you're currently on.
Good questions about DIT. That's awesome.
Will that, to stay on that topic, will those be sort of guided by, like, ITIL, for example, some of the principles, as far as the goals and stuff concerned?
Determining what the goals are,
Yeah, and
or getting
guidance
specific to your job. if your job is involved and would require knowledge of that ITIL framework, then I think that would be incorporated within your position's particular goals. If you're talking about across the board for performance management of IT, I imagine it'll be something that we need to consider, but from an HR perspective, we'd have to learn a lot about ITIL to be able to make it implemented effectively. So, but we've got, most of our senior leadership team have IT backgrounds. They may not be all well-versed in ITIL, but we've got particular folks who are and can help us with that.
Our current agency goals are essentially impossible to connect to IT work because they're about what the agency does. So, one thing that should be an advantage is that your agency goals will be much easier for us to put our actual work in connection to. So it's always been a challenge in DNCR because it's all about, public outreach, things that IT staff don't actually do. So that'll be a big improvement.
Rule development.
Yeah, rule development, education, things that IT staff simply don't do. How do you make our tasks connect to that? You really can't. I just arbitrarily assign them and don't worry about it. But, so.
Y'all don't directly impact the number of trails that are in the state park?
Carl might.
So that should be an improvement, at least in the consistency from goals all the way down to tasks. There should be a closer connection than there has been in the past.
Well, from the human resources perspective, we want to work with y'all to understand your business and who you support. And we want to do that across all of DIT. So, that is one of the more interesting options in human resources, quite frankly, is to get out there and understand who you support. And, folks out in the field, so to speak, or at a division level, sometimes some of them really are doing some interesting stuff. Human resources is interesting sometimes, but not all the time. Supporting the zoo and the aquariums and parks, when I worked for Diener back in the day, I really enjoyed working with those groups because I could identify with what they did, at least from a visitor's perspective or a participant's perspective. So that was a cool thing. Just like with transportation and working over there and now having DIT transportation, they work directly with engineering, applications development, and resolving system issues, the things that they build. They work within transit, so that was cool to be a part of how IT helps, say, the aviation division and what they're doing to regulate drone operations. So we're excited about y'all coming aboard and us having opportunities to learn about the business that you support daily.
And one thing about the organizational goals, I have noticed through the optimization process, with public safety and Department of Transportation and other agencies coming into the fold, very different approaches to designing goals. Yeah. And I hope you will find that at DIT, we are very fluid and flexible with the goals. We want those goals to drive business operations. Mid-course corrections happen. I spent 15 years with law enforcement and military working in those arenas, and things happen, and the course changes. So my office, and one of the things I enjoy the most about performance management and organizational development is working with managers, working with individuals, and designing their goals and helping them cascade the goals from the strategic plans of the agencies so that they are relevant to what your unit is accomplishing. So I hope you'll see us as a resource.
Good questions. Any others? Okay. What we want to do next is we can adjourn. If y'all want to stick around and mingle a little bit, that would be great. Love to introduce you. Oh, we also have the your badge so that you can get a badge, so don't run off just yet. But I really appreciate y'all's time, I know the team does, and we are excited, and we're not just saying that. Y'all have, yes, sir.
Who do we turn the forms into?
There is a box in the back.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and one last thing, we have DIT pens, ink pens, they actually write. Very good. It's the only pen that I use, and we do have some Post-it notes, and they all have the DIT logo. So help yourself to a few of those. Thank y'all.
Thank you.